The council meeting, the State of the Union address. In the interest of public health and safety and pursuant to the Governor's Executive Order N29-20, council chambers is not open at this time. The public may view this meeting on television and/or online and may submit comments by e-comment at www.chulavistaca.gov/cityclerk or by email to cityclerk@chulavistaca.gov. And just for the record, please note that with the exception of Councilmember Padilla, all members are present. Councilwoman Jill Galvez, Deputy Mayor Jill Galvez, Councilmember John McCann, Mike Diaz, and our City Attorney, will you please lead us in the pledge?
Please join me in the pledge to our flag. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, and you may be seated. And good evening and welcome once again to the 2020 State of the City Address. I'm Mayor Mary Casillas Salas, the Mayor of Chula Vista, a community that believes in the values of compassion, peace, and progress. I have never been prouder to work with the staff and community to move the city of Chula Vista, in spite of the fact that 2020 has been the most challenging year we have had or faced in our lifetime. Together, we are enduring an unprecedented global pandemic that yields economic challenges not seen since the 1930s, while we are also confronting an ongoing battle against racism and bigotry. These issues can bring a feeling of anxiety and despair, a feeling overwhelmed. We see it in the news. We watch social media feeds. It's easy to go online and feel gloom all around us. It's been said, yet it is far better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. And I have seen our community light a candle in the spirit of hope as we come together to face these challenges. Before the pandemic hit, Chula Vista was boldly moving towards the future. Chula Vista was one of the 5 cities included in a statewide study for a potential new Cal State University campus. The Port of San Diego had just approved the coastal development permit for RITA to develop the proposed hotel and convention center on our bayfront. And we had just rezoned portions of the old Roar plant footprint to become a tech incubation area to encourage new startups to the area. New businesses like Williams Aerospace and MGP Caliper Covers opened manufacturing facilities in Chula Vista, bringing highly skilled jobs to our community. We opened the Willow Street Bridge by Roar Park. We were recognized by the New American Economy as one of the top 2 cities in the nation behind Chicago in providing opportunities of economic empowerment, inclusivity, and community building to immigrants, and officially became a welcoming city. New businesses opened in Millenia, and some expanded in the Otay Ranch Center. Our library premiered Ruth, Remember Us the Holocaust, an exhibit featuring 12 Holocaust survivors that made South Bay their place of work, worship, and home. The exhibit was a dream of Ruth Sachs, a Holocaust survivor, a Chula Vista resident, an advocate and inspirational speaker who passed on December 29, 2018. It also includes stories from the Armenian genocide and the impact to our local Armenian families. This is the first exhibit of its kind in the South Bay. We started and continue renovating the Norman Park Senior Center. We dedicated Orion Park and Strata Park in the Millennia development, bringing the total number of parks in Chula Vista to over 60, and the Roar Dog Park, the largest dog park in the South Bay, in coordination with Councilmember John McCann and Development Services Department's Park and Recreation. We formed San Diego Community Power with San Diego, La Mesa, Encinitas, and Imperial Beach. This community-driven local electricity provider was created to empower our communities to shape a clean energy future that is local. We were on track to have a $1 million surplus and had $24 million in our operational reserve and $7 million in our emergency reserve. But then the COVID-19 pandemic came upon all of us, an ongoing global public health crisis that shut down the world. Like you, our city had to shift overnight to meet this enormous challenge. As mayor of this incredible city, I have been proud to see our community organize food drives, call their elderly neighbors, and donate to numerous charities. Our city government did too. Our community services department took immediate action. While libraries closed, staff transitioned to answer San Diego County's 211 line to provide our community with information on where to go to access food, utility, and financial assistance. Our amazing library staff has been working diligently to assist our community answer 200 to 250 to 350 calls per day, and the number of calls continues to grow. Parks and Recreation established the hashtag Mask the City Challenge to encourage everyone in the community to wear masks and face coverings, and distributed them to our homebound and senior residents. Many residents and staff made and donated masks, like Emily Bonafilia, Christy Vasquez, Yolanda Garcia Blackwelder, and Alice Kopman, and of course Sandy Scheller and her family, Max and Mark. The Chula Vista Library served as a central location for the donated masks and face coverings, and also helped to promote the challenge. When our schools closed, we took action and purchased 2,000 Wi-Fi hotspots to serve those families that are most in need during this time of distance learning. The hotspots were allocated to the library and were distributed through the Chula Vista Elementary School District. The library shifted to an all-virtual program that has been recording story times, crafts, and workshops for the community to keep our children and families engaged at home. These programs are at your fingertips at the library's website. Our Public Works Department executed coronavirus emergency response efforts and services throughout our city, providing disinfecting supply kits to public counters in open city facilities, servicing over 100 first responder vehicles and equipment, crucial to public safety. The Public Works Department, working with the Economic Development Department, Fire Department, Police Department, and Code Enforcement, forced a local COVID-19 public health campaign and community outreach task force. In just 5 days, the COVID-19 Outreach Task Force contacted almost 1,000 businesses, over 350 members of the public, and distributed over 1,000 masks. On May 5th, our City Council authorized a 90-day economic recovery plan. The plan includes a $6.1 million small business relief fund. The plan also includes one-time loans of up to $5,000 available specifically to restaurants who are still operating. We did this because we know that small businesses are the lifeblood of our community and a large part of any economic growth and prosperity that our city needs. But also during the pandemic, we looked for innovative ways to reach even the most vulnerable in our city. We expanded COVID-19 outreach by using speaker-equipped drones for humanitarian missions and homeless outreach with local law enforcement to share vital information to help this very vulnerable population during the ongoing pandemic. The city of Chula Vista, despite multiple crises, isn't stopping with these residents. We care about our four-legged friends too. I know my dog Wally is a member of my family. Our Chula Vista Animal Care Facility started a United for Fur Pets Pantry, a program to provide pet food and supplies to families in need during the COVID-19. Our city attorney's office, Glenn, has drafted numerous emergency orders to protect renters in the city from eviction and to implement safety standards to slow the spread of the virus. Because of the urgency of the crisis, for the first time ever, our city created a $1 million rental assistance program to help families meet their housing needs during this emergency. And we have done all of this with little federal or state support. We used our emergency financial reserves. The federal government only provided direct funding to cities with over a population of over 500,000 people. And under the governor's proposal, the state will provide direct funding for cities with more than 300,000 people. With no consideration about the impact of COVID-19, the federal government and the state are using arbitrary population numbers to assign funding. This is why it's so critical that all our residents complete the 2020 census so we can get our fair share of state and federal funding in the future. As we look forward to a path of recovery, we continue to advance vital projects that stimulate our economy, revitalize our community and our region. We are still moving forward with our Bayfront development. The Costa Rica RV Park construction is happening now and is scheduled to be completed and open by January of 2021. I'm proud to say our city, with partners of the Port of San Diego and Rita Development, is committed to completing these major projects that will have an incredibly positive impact in our region. These achievements happen thanks to the work of Councilmember Steve Padilla and his role as our representative and chair of the California Coastal Commission. In our 3rd Avenue Village, we started construction on the final phase of the 3rd Avenue Streetscape Improvement and Beautification Project. This last segment between F and E Street will finish the work along our downtown village. The final phase should be completed by October of this year. We have repaved the worst of the worst streets and will continue to repave our streets that are considered in poor condition, thanks to Measure P, the sales tax measure that was passed in 2016. We have begun numerous sidewalk removal and replacement projects as well. We have focused most of this investment in our older communities. Measure P will also fund the rebuilding of Fire Station 5 that will be moved to Moss Street and is expected to open in February 2021. And Fire Station 9 will be rebuilt at Orange Avenue behind the South Chula Vista Library, and that station is expected to open in April of 2021. These stations I just mentioned were built more than 60 years ago and needed to be replaced to better serve our residents in Western Chula Vista, ensure that they have better response time and the latest equipment. And continuing the renovation and revitalization of the West Side, Council members Jill Galvez and Mike Diaz created a mural program that has begun to beautify storefronts up and down our major corridors. And they continue to say that the West Side is the best side. You better not let the East Side know. In the new area of Millenia, we just opened Fire Station 10 on May 22nd of this year. It's the first new fire station to open in 14 years. The fire department increased staffing on fire engines from 3 to 4 firefighters throughout the city. Federal safety rules do not allow 2 firefighters to enter a burning structure unless 2 firefighters are outside to support them. We implemented fire department squads, a 2-person team to answer medical calls. Our data show a significant improvement to response times. And we were preparing the fire department to do medical transport to lower the cost to our residents and provide a higher level of care. We are also moving forward with plans to help those most in need among us, our unsheltered population. COVID-19 made it glaringly clear that helping this population to find a secure home is not only the moral thing to do, but also a way to help our community overcome COVID-19. Thanks to the donation of the Lucky Duck Foundation and the City of San Diego, we will soon open the first homeless bridge shelter in Chula Vista, a first step to give that hand up and help this population find stability, dignity, and hope. I am proud that our City Council unanimously approved accepting this donation, and we intend to have the shelter up and running by 2021. We also adopted a digital equity and inclusion plan, the first such plan in the county, which lays out actions the city will take to ensure every Chula Vista resident has affordable access to high-speed and quality internet, as well as the skills and the devices needed to use it. And this is especially critical during the COVID-19 crisis. We are still investing in our University and Innovation District and foresee it becoming a new tech hub in our region that will bring quality university education to our young people and high-end jobs to keep them here. Now, like the rest of the nation, we are facing the biggest economic challenge since the 1930s. Our economic recovery will depend on all of us. Chula Vista has faced challenges before, and it's always come out stronger. The tradition of innovation has always been a hallmark of Chula Vista, and this was strengthened by our city manager, Gary Halpert. Gary continued our city's leadership in embracing smart cities concept and climate action. Thanks to his efforts, we are a global leader in integrating new technologies with civic growth and engagement while maintaining environmental sustainability. We are only one of 10 cities to be a testing site for autonomous vehicles and unmanned aerial vehicles known as drones. We were one of the first cities in the world to integrate drones into public safety. Gary is retiring this month with over 30 years of experience in local government. I would like to take this time to show a short video thanking you for all you have done, Gary. And you can begin the video.
Congratulations, Gary, on your retirement. Thank you for all your hard work for Chula Vista and the residents of District 2, especially for your hard work on the Bayfront. We really look forward to seeing you again at the grand opening of one of our beautiful new parks, the Gaylord Resort, and all the exciting things that are happening. Meanwhile, have a fun, happy, healthy, and enjoyable retirement.
Just tell him we'll take $50 for Gary's couch. We got to get it out of here. Gary, congratulations on your retirement. It's been great working with you and your staff for the last 3.5 years. In just that small time period, we have accomplished so much. The list of noteworthy projects is way too long for this short video, so I'm just going to mention a handful. First, the biggest project, the Bayfront. After 40 years and many attempts, it appears that we are as close as we've ever been to making that project happen. Thank you for your tenacity. Our Drone for First Responder program, in which our police department is leading the nation in the use of this technology, is also a great another project of yours. You also set the groundwork for our Smart City initiative, which will benefit the community for decades to come. It's clear to this council member that the residents of Chula Vista are better off today as a result of your leadership and commitment to the city. I wish you the best in your retirement, and I'm sure Betsy has many plans for you, so don't start tipping those toes into consulting or, heaven forbid, some real gainful employment somewhere else. May God continue to bless you and your family. No, look, just tell them to take the couch. We got to start making room for Maria.
Hey Gary, this is John McCann, and on behalf of the McCann family, we just wanted to thank you very much for everything you've done for Chula Vista, like the big projects that are going to happen, the Bayfront, the university, Millennia, but also these small projects like this dog park and Miller Park. We really, truly appreciate what you've done for the city and want to wish you the best in retirement. Thank you.
Hey Gary, I want to thank you, and that seems so insufficient just to say thank you for all that you've done. You're an incredible human being. I'm going to miss our weeklies. You're not going to get away that easy because there's such a thing as a phone, and there's such a thing ultimately, I think, still with restaurants and bottles of wine, so you're not getting off the hook that easily. But I do want to say thank you for your thoughtful leadership in our organization, for your patience, for championing Chula Vista's critical issues and operations, and certainly our big projects. And I want to thank you for developing your own team, developing the employees that worked under you, and thinking about the future leaders. We can't thank you enough. You've been a fantastic city manager. It's been a real honor to serve with you. And I look forward to that bottle of wine. And congratulations on your retirement.
Glenn Guggens here, honored to be invited to participate in a tribute to our illustrious outgoing city manager, Gary Halbert. Gary, it's been a pleasure working with you during these just incredibly productive years for the city. So much good work. Our heads are spinning, as you've said from time to time, and if I knew how to flip my phone, I could show you evidence of that with all the stacks of paper on my floor for different projects we're working on, probably just as well, so that the fire marshal doesn't come in and cite me. But I thought, Gary, because of how extraordinary you've been, I would write you one of my infamous lyrics to pay appropriate tribute. But then it occurred to me, you've been so good, you probably deserve not to have one of my infamous limericks. So instead of that, Gary, I will offer you a toast appropriately with a engagement committee reusable cup. Sorry it's not San Ynez Valley Pinot, but I wish you all the best, Gary, in your afterlife, and hope we have a chance to work together again. Thanks. Salud.
Gary, it's been a remarkable 6 years working side by side with you as mayor of Chula Vista. Your leadership has led this community and this city forward in so many ways, from the Bayfront to the university, through all the efforts to get our city connected and our community more involved, and making it just a better place to live for all Chula Vistans. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for your service. Enjoy your retirement. Enjoy your time with Betsy and the kids. I look forward to seeing you in social settings, and I sure will miss you. But I know that you left the city in good hands. Thank you so much.
And now we welcome a new city manager, Maria Cacciadorian. She will continue the tradition of bringing new ideas and innovation. Maria was our director of finance during the Great Recession and helped our city come out stronger from that crisis, and was key in our city achieving a balanced budget, a better credit rating, and the $30 million surplus that has sustained our city during this COVID-19 crisis. Both I and the rest of the City Council agree that she is a perfect person to lead our city's administration during this time of economic uncertainty. But there is another challenge that impacts our nation, and that is the state of race in our country. From the genocide of the First People, the enslavement of Africans, the Chinese Exclusionary Act of 1888,
the internment of the Japanese Americans during World War II, the forced deportations of American citizens of Mexican descent in the 30s and the 50s, and today, kids in cages. Way too often, we see reports of African Americans and people of color who have been murdered or lost their lives for no reason. The latest is George Floyd. Before that, Breonna Taylor, who was killed by police while sleeping in her bed, and Ahmaud Arbery, who was shot while jogging. This is wrong and simply unacceptable. It has resulted in the Black Lives Matter movement that many wrongly perceived as anti-police. Black Lives Matter was in turn co-opted into a slogan, All Lives Matter. But All Lives Matter is a false slogan unless all lives matter equally. And it seems for some, black and brown, lives matter less. I fully support the peaceful protests seeking justice for all, including the taking of the lives of Floyd, Taylor, and Arbery, whether the perpetrators were civilians or police. Now is a time for self-examination. We change when there is conflict and pain, and when things are uncomfortable. I and my family have seen and experienced racism firsthand, from when my grandparents moved to Chula Vista in 1919 to my sisters and me. I marched for equality as a teenager during the civil rights movement, and I continue to march because we have seen that racism and prejudice is still endemic in our nation. However, we are fortunate to live in a community like Chula Vista. While we are not perfect, we are a city that has achieved national recognition for embracing and celebrating our diversity and integrating immigrants into our society. I am particularly proud of the relationship that we have developed between our police and the community at large. Every year, Sandag conducts a survey about resident satisfaction with their police department, and every time it finds that Chula Vistans are very satisfied with our police department. In 2019, 90% of Chula Vista residents surveyed indicated that they were satisfied with the performance of our police department. Our department is a model of professionalism and continuous community outreach. It is one of the most diverse departments in our county, and many who serve are multi-generational residents of Chula Vista. This is a tribute to every member of our police department and speaks to the fact that we hire the best candidates possible. We train them vigorously and provide outstanding leadership. We set high standards and, most importantly, promptly weed out those that do not measure up. It is also a tribute to our chief, Roxana Kennedy, and the rest of her leadership team, who are open to listen and to learn. We were the first police department in the county to extensively train our officers in the use of de-escalation techniques. We require all officers not to use their firearm except in the face of serious injury or death. We require comprehensive reporting of all incidents of use of force, and our officers have a duty to intervene if they witness other officers acting inappropriately. And most recently, we abolished the use of the carotid restraint, referred to some as a chokehold. While we are not perfect, our residents in our police department help make this a great place to live. It's a testament to the kind of community that we have, the public safety employees who serve our city. Even though we have made some progress in breaking down barriers for equality, racial equality, gender equality, marriage equality, recent events have shown us that there is still much to do. That we have not achieved the goal of judging a person by the content of their character, that we continue to judge them by their skin color, their gender, their sexual orientation, or their religion, or their primary language. Our city and its people continue to hold to the spirit of the lighting of the candle of hope, a candle that represents all of us, every one of us. I have been inspired by the young people who, in their activism, call on us to form a more perfect union and a better and cleaner world. We are listening to the challenges that are before us, and we will overcome them. In that spirit, we, as a city, continue to look forward to the future. Chula Vista, like our nation, will continue to strive for that most of American ideals: equality for all, reject the calls that attract the darker impulse of the American spirit, and forge our city ahead in that bedrock of American principles of peace, progress, justice, and compassion. Our city can be an example for our nation, that a community built on these ideals will strive and all will benefit. I'm certain of that because who we are. We are a community of compassion, of diversity, of strength, and of love. A shining example of those true American ideals. Ideals of our community, the community of Chula Vista. Thank you. Thank you. So, Gary, this is our first virtual State of the City address, and it's been a little bit awkward because one of the joys of having a State of the City address is inviting our community in to participate with us in celebrating what we've accomplished through the year and looking forward for what we do for the future. So we do have a little token of our appreciation, and Deputy Mayor Jill Galvez was delegated with the task of finding an appropriate farewell gift from the council members and myself. So if you would, Jill, present that to Gary. And I don't know if Gary's shy or if he wants to open everything up right now. So needless to say that Jill picked out some pretty good gifts for the next phase of his life. Yes, life is good. Thank you, Gary. Thank you very much. And then we have another surprise from you, and this is going to be presented to you by Iracema Gilintan, who's our Director of Public Works, and Bill Valley, who is our traffic engineer. So if you will come and surprise Gary with his present. Oh. Turn it around, Gary. See what it says on the reverse.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Both our staffs, we are both very proud to serve them, but also you gave us money to deal with infrastructure. That is unheard of in our careers.
It's not the sexy project.
Yeah, but it's
It is the sexy.
and so we appreciate it.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gary. Thank you for your service. Thank you very much. Thank you and good night. With that, we'll adjourn to our next City Council meeting, which is scheduled for June the 23rd in these council chambers at 5 p.m. Thank you and good night.